Hi, we're Vaber. We're going to talk you through different sections of our track, our latest release, which is coming out on February the 26th, so it might already be out if you've seen parts of this. So it's called Step on the Boy. We're going to do a track breakdown for you. All the bits and bobs, the kick, the processing on the kick, the drums, the bass, the acids, all the riffs and all
the shit.
Yeah, so if you just unsolo and just play them a little loop. Right, cool.
There you go.
So let's start with the kick then, Chris.
Kick the Chris.
Kick the Chris. So
right, if we look at it, so this is, I think what we tend to do is we've got an Ableton rack. I'm just leaning over here because I've got a fucking microphone in my way, but we've basically got like an Ableton rack of loads of different kicks. We tend to get one kick in going, don't we? Like just while we're writing the track, and then we'll later on we'll come back and pick the best kick. Sometimes we'll make our own kick. Yeah,
sometimes. But I mean, in this, if you just open up one of them regions there, so if you double click that, bring this up. So in our Ableton rack, we've got loads of kicks down the side. So we can just move this up and down. Look, all different kicks. Yeah. So these are kicks that we've just preloaded in that we like the sound of, that we go with. And, we narrow it down to a load of kicks and what type of kick we want. And we've already done the work picking out the big ones. The good ones, should I say.
Yeah.
So we'll just kick with that, but if you wanted to change the kit, you just up the MIDI notes.
Yeah, so some of the ones we've picked are really like solid kicks.
Yeah.
But some of them don't have enough character. So usually we then layer more another kick on with it's got loads more character. In this case we use this plugin called Snapback, which is basically just layering it but in line.
Yeah. And what did we layer with that in it? Play it with
this. I don't know how to play it on its own.
So we've added a bit of a top to it, haven't we, really? A bit of a transient into the...
If we just play it normally...
Yeah, you can see that transient really picks it up with what we've done and adds that real snap. Because that sort of pokes through in the mix anyway, so without that on the kit, it's got the body and the meat, but so...
It's like it's just more of a standard kick, but it's really solid. But then we wanted, obviously, a bit more techno for this. It's quite a hard track.
Yeah.
So we've added this bit in just to give it that extra beef.
Yeah, cool.
And then we use this Ableton instrument.
Yeah, it's like a little thing someone gave me 8 years ago, actually, that I had in. Lucas, from the studios, So it's he gave me some bits and bobs for Ableton ages ago. I'm not sure where he got it from, but like this one was just a little thing called Kick, and you can up the click and the rumble, the drive for it, compressor. It's just got stuff built in, a little Ableton instrument.
Yeah, we've just used the drive in this case because we didn't really want a big long rumble. We've got a driving bass line. So that's pretty much it. For the rest bits of the kick, we've got these sort of like instead of like automating parts of the kick for different parts of the track, we have like just a rumble section, which is just like a longer kick.
Yeah, and you can see there on that track, we have now added, if you go at the bottom, we've now added the rumble on the little kick setting. We've put the rumble right up, so when we sort of drop down to the sort of breakdown in the track.
Yeah, I think we've used it on the intro and the outro in this one.
Yeah.
And then we've also got one, we called it Kick Filter, and it's basically, as you can imagine...
Yeah, it just filters out,
Yeah, and that one we've used the rumble, and it's just a preset called
telephone vocals,
it's on the EQ8,
EQ8, it's a setting on that, so if you just get that, and we normally just open up the top end and the bottom end to how you like it, how you want your sort of filtered kick, just for little drop downs, obviously, as you can see in the track.
Yeah, like this little bit here, where if I just solo the kick on its own.
Yeah, just takes out the bottom end of the kick and adds a bit of variation at the end of every 8 and 16 and that type of stuff.
Yeah, usually I used to automate it, but then you were like, why don't you just put a new one? It's like
not just that in Ableton as well. I find sometimes if you've got the lock on with the automation, it drags it, and sometimes it doesn't, and you spend time going back in. I thought just drop it down.
It's easier to see, isn't it?
Drop it down the track, and it's visually there, right? I want it to drop, bang. You want it to drop, away you go.
Yeah. So that's the kicks.
Yeah, that's the kicks. Yeah, and then
over to the hats. We do a really similar thing here. We've got a drum rack with loads of hats on it, and we've just essentially gone through all of those and selected the one that we think fits the
Yeah.
best. This one's from
Yeah,
I think it's a Raveyard Oblivion pack.
Yeah, it's cool samples.
If I play it with a kick, just that.
And again, you can just flick your MIDI up and down and choose dead easy just to
Yeah.
preview it, you know, and
Like
see which one you want and what fits with the track. You know, you might go back and go, I need a bit more out of that now. I've added more stuff.
Yeah.
I need a bit more out of the hat. I need a bit more top end. So you'll find a bit of a brighter one.
Yeah.
Or a bit more washy, or however you want to take the track as it's evolving and you're making your drums.
I think for this one we just had one that we usually use just as a default, and then we wanted, because it was going quite hard this track, we just went back and changed it to a bit more of like a tougher hat.
Yeah.
And then we used Loop Cloud a lot for all of our loops.
Yeah,
so
bits of washy loops and stuff that you add in.
we literally just have like a loop like this, drums. We'll be playing just the kick and the hat.
Yeah.
And then we have Loop Cloud open, and we'll just be flicking through packs, just trying to find something that works.
Little,
We'll do little tweaks to them. Like in this one, we've chopped out the bottom end and boosted the top. And then this one here, we've got a little filter on it just as we're automating stuff throughout the track. And we've boosted more of the mids.
And that automation just adds a bit of the, just a bit of dynamics within the drums. You know, it'll filter up and stuff and that, you know, and put a low pass and it'll be in and out and stuff. Just add some dynamics to the drums.
What we tend to do is we'll create this drum section. We'll start creating the tracks, and then we'll come back to it and start removing stuff sometimes, because sometimes it's too busy.
Clash, it's too busy. You have to take stuff out and sacrifice it.
Especially when you've got like this wicked acid line taking up a load of space.
Yeah.
You know what you want. Sometimes it takes up too much space.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we added is, I think this is a ride. We've just included that on certain sections.
Nice little washer,
just to boost up the energy. You know,
picks it up and drops it down. Yeah. So altogether, the loop is nice now. Yeah. So we've got that going, and then we'll go on to the bass. Our basses are not pretty standard, just 16ths.
Yeah,
16ths, and then we sidechain them really, and find nice bass sound that fits. Again, we go back to the stuff where we're listening now. We've got the kick, we've got the drums all working together. That's sounding nice. You then want a bass that sounds really nice with the kick.
Yeah.
And normally, rather than get a bass that sounds crap and try and process the bejesus out of it to fit it in, we just find a bass. You use your ear and find a bass that fits in, and then bits of tweaks on it.
We've used this dark acid one. We've used this one on another track.
Yeah.
But we've tweaked just one of the some of the settings in here, just basically get it sounding a bit more on top. This quite I don't know, it's just dark type of bass.
So we just listen on its own.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll take off the shaper box.
Yeah, so it's just
That's all it is.
And then we've got shaper box on, which is just a side chain.
Yeah, we've used it for side chain.
We've got a pretty on this side chain. Obviously, with shaper box, so we're really side chaining the lows really, aggressively. You can see on the lows, and if you flick to the mids, that changes it, and it's a bit more, because there's a lot of, we don't want any lows hitting with the kick. But we can let some more of the mids through, and we want the tops to come through in that side chain. So it's just a split side chain.
Yeah, you'll find it'll really depend on your track. So like this one, we want the bass, the rolling bass to really cut through. So the kick, we've actually gone through. If we go back to the kick, we've shortened it down here. And then we've kept, so that cuts off about halfway through here, and then we've boosted the bottom end taken off all the bottom end of the bass, the first half, and then they just gel together. Sometimes you might want your bass only coming in a bit more towards the end there, and your kick really driving the track, but it really depends on your track. And so in terms of processing, we've got a bit of EQ. I say a lot of EQ, just boosting it up. We find that some basses where they've not got much bass at all, instead of layering, sometimes it's just better to just boost it with an EQ.
Boost, yeah. Because we've got that side chain that's taken from,
Yeah,
you know, and it just adds. You probably won't even get a lot of that. It'll just tickle in, you know, but you just get a little feel of it. So
yeah, we've got that. I'll take some of these off, and you can be able to see how they fit in. If I take off these.
Yeah, just take off to what we started.
So this is how it sounds at the start. This is with the EQ.
So it's added a lot more bass to that.
A lot more bass.
Got the Saturn.
Stuck it through a Saturn. I think we just added in some like grit there.
Yeah.
Just give it a bit more of a tougher sound. This CQ is one from Sound Toys. It's got good character. It's an EQ that's got a lot of character into it. So it almost sounds a bit like a compressor sometimes. So this is without, and then with.
Yeah, you can just hear it's picking up that top end in it and
it's like
making it pop
mids,
out. Yeah, mids and tops to pop out.
And then that's basically the sound of our bass. And then to give it the rolling feel, we've just added the side chain.
And you can hear now a lot of that bass that we've been added in with the EQ has been cut out with that side chain, but it's just as that slope comes up, it just lets the little bit in that gap where from in between the kick and the bass, so it just lets them melt together.
Melt
together. And then the filter.
The filter is there just to for automation, just like as we're going through the track, like bringing in things, bringing things out. The track spacer is more for the I know this is more of a mix down thing. I noticed that when the vocal was coming in, it was hard to hear at certain points, and there was a lot of stuff clashing.
Yeah.
So I think I put the track spacer, which is it's basically it will take a side chain signal, so the vocal coming in.
So the vocal comes in and then it ducks that, so they're not clashing.
That ducks that section of frequency. So if I push play now, and then bring in the vocal in over this part here where the vocal is playing. It's this bit over here, sorry. See where it's cutting out. And I've really narrowed it down. Usually it'll try and guess
it all,
and you can see that working over here. But what I've done is use the low and high cut to really just narrow it down to that problem region I found.
Yeah, well, that's the thing where you don't want it clashing where the human voice sits. I think what is it, about 7? What was it, about 7K or something?
7 to 1.5.
Yeah, so that's where the human voice sits in that range.
Yeah.
So while the vocal's on, if you've got other stuff happening in that, it makes the vocal sound clashy.
Yeah.
So if that's just ducking that bass, them frequencies out of that bass sound.
Yeah.
To make to clear up.
Yeah.
It's like when you've got, you're getting told off by your mum and your bird and your auntie at the same time. You can't differentiate between all three, so you need to chin a couple of them, so you can just hear one at a time.
Sounds like you've been told off a few times.
Oh mate, loads of times. But yeah, so it just ducks it out of the way.
Yeah, for that I would have just used my ear. I would have gone to roughly where you think it is, about 700 to, and then I would have just used my ear to make sure I play everything with the bass, and then tweak this until I can hear the vocal and the bass sounds like it's working at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's all the processing on the bass.
Cool.
We've got I missed a little snare roll.
Oh yeah, a little snare, just
here we go, back
standard
to
stuff in it. Yeah.
Just used one out of the same pack, the Raveyard pack, and then just EQ'd it a bit just to take some of the bottoms and some of the harshness out the top.
Yeah. Get it to sound nice.
Yeah.
So they are that's the bass. So vocals are just below. So let's see what processing we've done on the vocal.
Not much, not too much. Where did we get this vocal from?
So the vocal, I think, was from
Tracklib, was it, or was it from?
No,
Splice?
it's from Splice or Loop Cloud, something like that. One of the free royalty ones.
Yeah. And what we've done to it is, if we take some stuff off.
So let's just take it off and see what it's like.
This is how it is originally.
I shot me up, me have enough things to see.
So
a little ragga vocally thing in it, that we found that fit quite nice with the track.
Yeah, we've used this manipulator plugin to change it from this to this.
Step on that boy, 'cause you know I'm in no play.
Just to give it a tougher edge.
Yep.
The way to figure out where you want it is to play the rest of your track and then tweak the pitch and the formant settings. and then get it fitting exactly it, and then that's right. We've just taken off some of the bottom end and boosted some of the mids, and taken off some of the slight bit at the top on this one.
Step on now, boy, 'cause you know I'm in no play.
Takes that boominess
Yeah,
out of the bottoms, done it? So
Yeah.
you've got all your bass with your bass. You don't want bass adding with the vocal.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
the vocal adding into your kick and adding into your, you spent all that time getting them working right. So
yeah. The only time I think we've automated that the bottom end, the low pass.
for the break,
Yeah,
that's where you
just
can
when
have
there's
it sounding a bit more fatter and a bit fuller. When it drops to kick in. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Step on now, boy.
and then we've added Endless Smile. That'll be just for
Oh,
the
that's
break.
bringing up on the breakdown in to start bringing up some tension.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe sort of go to that bit and next.
It's
Yeah,
be around here,
so
Boy, 'cause
hear all that
you know
reverb
I'm
going up. That's through here.
getting excited. Yeah,
Step on now, boy,
That's
'cause
that
you
bass
know
coming back
I'm
in.
no play.
Yeah.
yeah. Ah, cool. Yeah,
We've added some R bass back on, and that was because when we took out the bass, some of it kind of like disappeared too much, and we couldn't like get it back with EQ. So I'll show you what it sounds.
Step on now,
That's it off.
step on now, boy, 'cause you
Just
know I'm in.
giving it a slightly
subtle in it. It's just nice little subtle little.
gives it that bit more rounded, thicker bottom end, and then a bit more EQ on the end here, and
Step on now, boy, 'cause you
really
know
just
I'm in
shaping
no.
it more for the mix down. This
Yeah.
is so I probably wouldn't have used this when we were making it, and then when I've come to mix down, I've popped that
Added
on.
this on, yeah.
and just kind of shaped it into the track.
Yeah.
So that's a vocal.
Yeah, so that's a vocal. Cool.
Yeah.
Next one, we've got a lovely acid line below that.
Oh, don't forget the vocal
Oh yeah,
delay.
yeah. We've got a bit, obviously, delay vocal. Play a bit of that. Yeah, I
So
suppose.
this bit it's basically a bit like our kick, where we've separated instead of automating them on and off.
Yeah.
The delay and on and off. We've just put a new track with the vocal, taken some of
boy
the
on, yeah.
stuff off, and just put an echo boy on it.
Step on now, boy.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just to make it easy to understand and see.
Sweet.
And then we're using this I can't even pronounce that. Fossion 2 whatever that is.
Yeah. Read that there. That's what the plugin is. Open it up and let them see.
Yeah.
However you say that.
Yeah, whatever this was called. This is basically it.
Acid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is we've started with a preset, this one, but it's not like this preset at all. We've stuck it to the external mode, so
Yeah.
that's playing via MIDI. Usually these will play via a built-in
Yeah, the
sequencer.
sequencer or the ARP. Yeah.
And then you can do stuff in the MIDI to like add in accents and things.
Yeah.
Stuff like if you look here, so an accent would be
Yeah, we've dropped the velocity down on stuff.
so that would be a non-accented note, and the other ones that are higher are accented. So you can hear that between this one and that one, for instance. It's got like that more open sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can then we've just basically tweaked around with these until we're happy with them.
Yeah, yeah.
If you've got this synth, great little thing I found is if you just open this up, and some of these settings here are great to automate as you're going through as well, because you can really like push the synth more.
Yeah.
So
With this, obviously, it's like more of a call and response type. So the acid line plays,
Yeah.
and then we've got like a sim sound that then sort of does a little response thing with it. So
it's more noticeable over here, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like we've got
yeah,
and then here
it's
we've
like
kind
call
of gone.
response. Yeah,
We've just gone all hell for leather,
Yeah.
haven't we?
yeah. It's more of a like that now. It's more of instead of call response, it's more like pattern bumps, pattern chop.
Yeah, yeah,
bump,
faster
more
pace.
faster pace pattern and a bit of
Yeah.
chop. Yeah,
And we just did it because we had a first drop, and then we were like, we need more energy.
yeah. More energy.
Come
for the
back for
second
more.
one. Yeah, yeah. So
And for the what did we do for the processing on this?
so for the synth, well, obviously, yeah. So
no, for the acid. We
oh,
still,
for the acid. Oh, yeah, process it on the acid. Yeah.
so let me take some of these off. Go through them all. So this is how it sounds on its own.
Yeah.
Still sounds pretty sick.
Yeah.
That is a 6 synth, to be fair. So this one I've just boosted some of the a bit of everything really.
Yeah.
I've just used my ear on this one. That's probably why it looks like such a mess. But I've used this one here just to boost this certain point. It's one of those dynamic EQ points. Gives you that little bit of extra movement at the top. So there's that.
Yeah.
I've used this compressor, parallel compressor by Baby Audio, to basically like give it a bit more punch and drive. So this is off, on, gives it that power, like that proper snap. We've used the wider plugin by Infected Mushroom to make it wider. Really good, really like good for like artificially widening stuff. That plugin. So like,
And it's free.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's a free one as well.
There you go. All right. We've got the shaper box doing more of the sidechain. We've used, it's just a standard out the box sidechain pattern there, but we've just dialed back the mix. So just to give it some movement as well. Off and on.
Just gives it that pump, doesn't it? Subtly just gives it that pump to pump away with everything, yeah.
We've used this little plate to give it a bit of reverb.
Yeah.
And I think for this one, this is more, we've used Pro R2, but more on the drop, the build up, sorry, in the breakdown, I think.
So is that automated through?
Yeah, I think it's over here.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you can see it here building up.
Just
up there.
the mix, it's just...
Yeah, and we've done the same on the filter there, just like slowly filtering out. And we've also done some automation on the actual, sorry, this one here, on the actual synth as well. Some of those settings here.
Yeah, just to sort of like make it that when that squelchy higher pitch sound that has moved up, done it as we've enveloped the automated the resonance on that.
Yeah, yeah. Squelchy, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
In terms of, then we've got the synth.
Yeah, the synth. So Serum, we like using Serum quite a lot with stuff. We tend to get the new driving techno synth.
Yeah, the sounds
and stuff. Yeah,
it's really like if we take all the stuff off here, it's quite like a dry, like basic sound almost. It's like just if I bring it up,
just a basic,
It's just a.
It's just Juno saws in it, so
yeah. I think this is a patch we've got, and then from one of the many sample packs we've bought over the years, and we've just tweaked with a few things here and there, and so there's that. And if I'll play it on this bit here. Let's zoom in. And then we've just got an EQ.
That just takes that dullness almost filtered, and with the EQ, just makes it sharp.
Yeah.
Takes that bass away, because obviously we don't want it clashing with any bass clashing with any other. It's a good tip. EQ the bass out of the stuff you don't want the bass in, because your track. I mean, it sounds better on its own when you listen to a sound on its own with all the frequency range, but you're never listening to it on its own. It's in with the track, so get rid of that bass that you don't want clashing with your kick and your bass.
Yeah. And then we've added in a decapitator, which is a distortion synth from Sound Toys.
Just crisping up that top end, innit?
It's not too much, is it? It's just a little bit. That's it before. It's just tiny little bit, but
we tend to use a lot of effects subtly anyway. Like I say, the starting off sound will be decent, but really good, pretty much 80-90% there, and then you tweak it.
Yeah, kind of just what it needs, isn't it?
Yeah, rather than try to find something that's 40% there and try to tweak the extra 60% out of it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, we won't stick it on everything. Like we'll just if we need, like we think it needs a bit of extra stuff to cut through, then sometimes a distortion plugin is the way to go instead of EQ. And then we've stuck on another EQ using that dynamic thing. Just giving that little twang at the top, isn't it? And cut out some of the. This will be like a mix down thing again. We've just cut out some of the fluff or the woolliness out of the low mid range there. We've got a sidechainer plugin again. similar
Just
to.
adds a bit of pump on it, but the mix is down, you know what I mean, as well on that, so it's letting a lot of the signal through and only, you know.
Yeah, similar to the Asus.
Yeah, it's just not full on pumping into nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
We've used one Pro R2, which is a reverb, to give it like the reverb for the actual sound. And we've just played around with this. We've not used a preset for this. Just played around until we've got something we like. Stuck on another wider plug-in. And then we've used another Pro R2. This is for automation. Again, in the breakdown like we did before. If I can zoom back here real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, we just find that like that Pro R2 we've used just to sit the sound, nice reverb, to sit it in the track, rather than try and mess about and automate that for the effect to wash it out. Excuse me. It's just easier to it's easier just to put another unit on at the end and use that purely just to wash it out.
Yeah.
And stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's just a part of the build-up.
Yep.
We've got this riser here. I've forgotten we put in. What is that?
We made a bit of a riser underneath. Oh yeah. This is actually quite.
There's a lot going on
here.
here.
We went a bit mad with this one, didn't we? Just messing about rather than just putting bog standard box risers in.
Yeah.
We actually made one.
Yeah.
Should we go through how we made it?
Yeah, I think it's using the same bass.
Yeah, it's the same sound.
Oh,
isn't
sorry,
it?
the same sound as the lead synth here. We've just automated it. So we've just taken off. Well, let's go through it all.
Yeah.
So take off the reverb.
LFO wider Pro R.
So I think we've just taken off some of the top end, so it doesn't like.
Yeah,
and
so
the
obviously
end.
top and bottom end.
So it doesn't clash with the
actual synth, yeah.
Playing, yeah, and then added a decapitator onto it, distort it up a bit. Put the reverb on. I think probably use the same settings as we had on the other one. Wider again. We've probably tweaked this so it's not quite taking up the same width as the main synth. And then you might have to describe this bit because I don't think we did. So I think you did this where you attached it all up.
Yeah. So what we did, we put the little LFO machine on and obviously look and set that, and it routed it to the low pass of this filter. So obviously look, you can see that up and down, and you can see that.
Oh, and then we've automated the rate as we're going.
Yeah. So as we're going up through,
look, it's getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could slow, and then we can just draw that rate in. Obviously, look, it's getting faster and faster as the rate's opening up. So it's pretty easy. You just route this LFO to the low pass there, to this low pass filter knob, and it's going womp. You know, that's how you get that effect.
Yeah, and we've used the reverb right at the end too. Yeah. Just again like a.
Again, just to the wet's going up on that, so that's just washing it out as it comes to there, and then it's not there anymore. Then, so that just. So look, you can see. So look, the rate. You can see the rate of the LFO. How we've set it from the beginning.
Slow.
Look, slow. We're speeding up.
Sick.
And there you go.
There we go.
Kicks in, yeah. So there, we spent a bit of time on that. I don't know why. I don't know. We don't always do stuff like that, do we? But it's good, you know. In every track, sometimes we just do the normal, just get a riser and whack an audio sample riser in that fits. But
sometimes you want something. That's
a
bit more
we were just messing
fitting.
about, weren't we? And just fitted up, so we use that.
Yeah.
Use the sim sound for that.
What is this?
And then we've got another little sireny little bit there at the bottom, but that's just a little synth that we.
Yeah, it's almost like if we play it with just the rest of the kick and the bass, it's just like an alarm.
Yeah.
That's all we were thinking of that. Just like need something going.
It just takes your ear, doesn't it? From the synths going mad, it just goes da-da-dum.
Yeah, if you play it with the synths as well, it'll. It's almost like an alarm.
Just another little ding. It's not dead noticeable when the synth and the acid are going, but kicks away. Yeah.
And then, if we play the rest of what we've got so far. We were listening to this part and thinking it needs a bit of like something in the background, a bit of something, a bit driving along. So we put in this. We started it off as an ARP.
It's like an ARP, innit? But then it's really dirty and grungy, so it just ends up.
That's what we started it off as an ARP, I think.
We were
thinking maybe an ARP would work here, and then as we were making it, we were thinking actually it just needs to be more of like almost
background like texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we do on this? Let's go have a look.
Yeah.
I think this starts. I think this is a Nexus preset, but we've just tweaked the hell out of it.
Yeah, look, quite
And it's this
round
one.
and rich in it and stuff. So
Big boy.
big boy. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's this one out of. I don't know what fucking pack that's out of.
Oh God knows. Search big boy.
EDM4.
Just type in Google big boy. See what happens.
You'll be fine. First link.
Yeah.
And then we've just tweaked these parameters until it's worked for us. So we've changed things like the spread, which is like how it flicks from side to side, and like made it a bit pingier, like pluckier with the decay.
And then obviously with the EQ on next, then we've really took out like top end stuff, a lot of the bottom end, because you do not need any of that, and just to try and sit it in, so it doesn't clash with everything and it just complements the other stuff.
That's it. And then
sat it back in the mix with the
that's it.
Pro R2.
It was a bit too in our faces at that time,
so we wanted it right back.
We've used the Pro R2, just like stuck it back in. And then I think we used this phase mistress just to add a bit of interest to it.
Yeah.
I've only used it very slightly, but just to keep the ear interested.
Yeah, but all these subtle things add up, so you don't have to always whack it on, do you?
And then
we've got a filter, that's just used for
automation
purposes when the builds ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then we have backed that riser that we did before, the synth riser. We have backed that up with just a normal audio riser. You know?
Yeah. We this is this one.
Just a little high pitch and a little
noise.
wash.
Yeah.
So they just add into that. Yeah. So we do use them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. So we've got this Acid V line as well.
Oh, we've used this as an effect.
Oh yeah, we sort of like messing about with it and ended up using it as a pad, didn't we?
Yeah, let's have a look. So I think over here. Yeah, that's what we've done. We've used it as a big pad.
Big pad sound, yeah. So
just because it kind of like fits into the track, like adds that proper dark moodiness to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just like So I've got that going. I think that's only in the breakdown.
Yeah, that was just a breakdown.
Yeah.
And then builds up,
And we've got this. I think this is a high string.
Yeah, and that's just in the background. That's just in the background as well. In the breakdown. It just adds some tension. just a high string.
Yeah.
Just tension.
Carries it along, doesn't it?
And you probably, unless you wouldn't even notice it. Really, it's just almost one of them. It's not like a sound that'll just jump out like a main sound, but you would definitely notice without it. It picks the tension right up on the build.
Let's take it out. We'll show you. So before without it. Sounds empty now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Put it in. Got that top end really sort of like not dead noticeable, but when you take it out you're like, whoa, what's up there?
Yeah, it like fills it out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good tension out of that. Dead a high string sat in.
And then the only other thing we've got is this
impact,
which is
standard stuff really.
I don't think we've even put any EQ on that.
No, just as standard as it was, straight out of the box.
Just works.
Yeah.
I think the only other things we've done drum processing. This is on all of the drums, so kicking everything.
Yeah, it's all in a group.
So if I go to the group, I've just got this tiny space 1.1. I saw this on some random YouTube video, and just the default setting adds a quality amount of reverb to your drums. Yeah, that's it. Off, on.
It's again subtle, but what I've not used that much myself, but that just sort of everything's grouped together and just sort of puts your drums all in the same space.
Yeah.
All in the same.
You don't notice it that much when you do it solo it on the drums, and you just soloed on the drums. But when you put it in the rest of the tracks, if I play this and then I'll turn it off, and then turn it on. Makes the drum so dry without it, and then with it on,
Yeah,
it's like
it brings them alive a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah. I think I notice it more when it's the rest. The
When
rest
it's
of it,
off, yeah, it's off, yeah.
And the only other thing I've put on here is a K clip, and that's just to boost them up and take out some of like the snaps from like the snares and all sorts of things.
Oh yeah, just control some of that.
Yeah, that's all it's
The transients on them.
That's all it's doing.
Yeah.
We're taking through the. I don't think we've used these reverbs.
No, yeah.
we've just.
They're just in the project, really, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. The only
As-
other things
as
we've
default.
got is the master chain, which is here. I just taken it off while we were showing you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, let's go through the master chain of what we put on that, yeah. Well, what you put on it, you master it, so.
Well, let's go. Let's take them all off one at a time.
Yeah.
I always quite like putting I don't use this all the time, but I quite like putting a tape machine just to give it like a bit of a warmer, rounder sound. So,
Just drums are solo.
hang on. Just like glues everything together,
Yeah.
I find. So got that on.
It's like a little saturation plug in it. I just sort of really put some tape saturation on and just sort of glues everything.
Yeah, so I usually have a tape machine at the start, maybe a compressor, and then I have some sort of EQ. I tend to use the Manly.
Oh, Manly passive EQ is absolutely sick. You do it by ear and stuff, but there's a default in this one, a preset in this one. Use your words. Called Dance Master.
The dance floor mix?
No,
Dance
Master.
Okay.
Just clicking that and putting it on. Oh, it adds so much like sparkle and top end to the master overall. Brilliant,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we've on this one just rounded off the bottom. I find these seem to have like a little boost at the bottom. So like when you turn it off, it actually boosts near that 23. So you get a bit of like a fatter bottom end, and you're cutting off the lows. I always just cut off about 27k, just use my ear, and then I've boosted some of the top end. I used Pro Q4 for like more of the clinical stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll probably.
So in the mastering phase now, you're thinking about, you're not just thinking about working the kick, the bass working.
Oh no.
You've done all that. This is now about like balancing, getting using sort of listening to the end product and going, has that got too much bass in it or not enough? Not enough, and so you're taking out from the whole track to sort of fit in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get the track balanced as a mix, so everything's working, and I think everything sounds great. And then I'll start A/Bing with other tracks, like we really like by Marie Vaughan.
Yeah, Space 92 stuff.
Eli Brown. And so we'll just like flick those tracks on and off. And as long as the track's balanced, we can then just like take bits of bass off.
Nip a bit of bass out of the whole thing if it's a bit too powerful. So
that's what we've done here. We've taken a bit of bass off, added a bit of mid.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Just make sure you've got, when you're using mastering, make sure you have linear phase set to high or something around there.
Yeah.
I use this Alicia Alpha for the master compressor, just because like I've tried what's the popular one, the SSL one. Tried that. It always sounds like a wall. It's just like it sounds really flat, the track, whereas I find this one adds dynamics to it. It'll be subtle, but
I mean, and that, go on, mate. I suppose that's as well with these because like some of this stuff you don't know, and if you don't use them all the time, you don't know what especially these analog modeling compressors and plugins and EQs. So it's good to just experiment with them and see what they do to your sound and see, if you like it or you don't, and you'll end up picking up your particular taste in stuff, which then will define your sound and help create your actual sound. Yeah,
I think for this one, I was just A/Bing it with the SSL because I used to use the SSL on some stuff, and I never really liked the sound of it. And I A/B'd it with this, and this one took a bit of tweaking, but then this is just now I've got it set to near where I want it. I can just tweak it per track, and it's every time better.
Yeah, cool.
Well, for me it is anyway. So this is it off, and then on. so super subtle.
Yeah.
But on the bottom end, if you're sat in a studio or got your headphones on, you'll hear the bass and the kick just bubbling on away with each other. We used Bloom in this case.
Blooming now.
Bloomineck. This EDM master is pretty good.
Yeah.
I tend to put this on, take off the bottom and the top of it, so it doesn't. Some of these, I don't know what they're called, like a dynamic EQ, like fucking magic things. They tend to like massively boost the top end, and then the bottom end they boost it, and it like ruins the overall master. So I take those off, bring it back down, and then I'll dial it in. And I find this along with there's another one called Gulfos.
Yeah.
They will take your track that sounds quite flat, and if it'll just add a bit of spice to it, like a bit of movement to it. Starts it off and then on. Just goes with the track a bit. Yeah. Really subtle, but it works.
Yeah.
I've had a little bit of stereo with using this, the tiny bit of stereo, 2.32%. This is a bit of an older plugin from Vengeance, but it's I think we walked through the wider plugin.
Yeah.
Before that adds like a really artificial widening sound. This is you can make this sound quite natural, but very, very subtle again. So like this is it off. And then on.
Just nips it, doesn't it?
Yeah, just takes it from like there to there.
Yeah, passes it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And I always had this on before.
Yeah, the Oxford stuff's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, I find with it, when you use the band split, you get a better like separation between the bottom and the tops, and I basically just don't drive this too hard. The input, put it up to where I think it is roughly right on both of these, and I'll just use it by ear, and then dial it back down, just so when I come to do the limiting on the ozone, it's not like smashing straight into it. And then finally the ozone.
Yeah.
Find this the best limiter at the moment.
Yeah.
The FabFilter one's pretty good. The was it Pro L2?
Pro L2, yeah, it's pretty clean, that one, innit? It doesn't really add a lot.
Yeah, I find this one's better pumping on the bottom end. If a cleaner bottom end. I find the Pro L2 you get a bit more of a squished sounding track. You might want that, you know, for that.
Cool.
But the way I'll use it is I'll generally get the gain roughly where I want it, and I'm about -6 on the I'll play it on here. Oh my lord, that's loud. Let's turn it down. Right, we'll have to turn it down on here. But it won't show you now because I've turned it down here, but here you'll be like -6, sorry, and you'll roughly want it about there. And then while that's playing, I'll tweak this character until it's roughly right.
Yeah.
Boost, usually use the soft clip. The other things sometimes I will use, and that's roughly it.
Yeah,
that's roughly it. I don't think I've got anything else.
Lovely.
You want to talk anything about anything
No,
else?
that's it. Yeah.
Cool. That's it.
Cool.
Right.